All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic Tuesday AM. Feeling sharp, focused, disciplined, right? And ready to go. Should be a very interesting session here today, right? With a very, very large gap down pretty much across the board here today. Let's see basically if that narrative sustains or if this ends up kind of giving us like a little bit of a flag profile. So on the daily time frame, right, we kind of maybe have a little bit of like something like this happening here to a certain extent. And so we'd like to see basically a either resolution of this to the downside, right, which seems like the more likely scenario here this morning, or a breakout to the upside, right, and a good amount of continuation there. But it definitely does kind of spice up the picture a little bit here this morning. And yeah, it should give us a little bit more range, hopefully, right, to deal with. The size of the move here on the short term probably means that the opening price action is going to be more mean reversion than continuation. And then if we are going to get like another leg lower, again, I would probably anticipate it to show up a little bit later in the morning than necessarily right off the first candle. But I would be thrilled to be wrong on that. So we'll see how markets behave here today. But big gap up or big gap down doesn't mean it's going to necessarily be a very busy trading day either. So we just got to really keep our expectations in check here, right? Don't rush anything, don't force anything. The emphasis and the priority here this morning is going to be on following our rules, making sure our process is, effective and logical and as we expect, and we're optimizing for control. If we remain in control here, right, we focus on the variables we can control. We get our entries, we take our exits, we close wins before they become losses. We close as P&L's increasing. We track our trades, right? We study our emotions. We, review those things outside of market hours. If we constantly get into that feedback loop of that self-improvement, then the money will take care of itself, guys, and we'll all be fine, and we'll take care of this volatility, no problem. So that's the focus here, right? That's the focus every day. We have to believe that by doing those things exceptionally well, then our P&L will also be exceptional. And so that's the focus here. We're not looking to force trades. We're not looking to rush trades. We're not looking to compromise on ideas. It has to be perfect, and we have to be the ones in control here today. All right. So we had some Fed speak, right, this morning. Fine. Nothing too crazy besides that from an economic calendar perspective. A lot of what we're getting, right, is what we'll call it like earnings narratives, right, is what's maybe pushing markets here a little bit. So creates a story, right, for sure. On the ES, we've got an inside bar, so a day of consolidation there yesterday, or a day of indecision. And this sets up as like a mean reversion type look, right, where our target here today is absurdly far away, 68.85, so we'll call it 68.90. And then we got like 6,900. Inside bar 69.10, and then we're going 69.60. I'm a little bit maybe torn on what I think the path of least resistance is here this morning. Maybe where like a little bit of my hesitation is coming from. I think that there's a very logical case to be made for both the mean reversion and the kind of like continuation. Anna Cooling, she very famous trader. Her volume concepts are very similar to the volume concepts I was taught, or the ones that I subscribe to. And I can't type. And one of her big statements is that she believes that markets trend in the bigger the gap, the higher probability of trending price action in that gap's direction. That's kind of like a big one of her theses. but I'm not sure if we necessarily have the volume support in the short term to be playing like in that description. So I definitely want to view the open this morning with like a little bit of extra detail because and that maybe comes off a bit weird, but I think we're going to learn a lot over today's trading day in the first I don't know 15 minutes or so. I think it's going to tell us a lot about the personality of the session. And so that's really where going to be a lot of the energy is going to have to be here this morning. Like if we get a big range, big volume, right? Clean breakouts early, that would be a really strong indication of kind of like that trend day or that big move to the downside rest of the day. If we get kind of like indecisive, choppy, bouncy price action, however you want to describe it, then that probably is a better indication of mean reversion. All right, NQ. Again, inside bar, so double inside bar. This makes maybe a little bit more sense for the breakdown narrative, right? It's a high vol sell-off, consolidation, sell-off. You'd expect this to maybe be what the candle would look like after today's close, not pre-market, which again creates like a little bit of some funky behavior, I guess, if you want to call it that. To the downside, we're looking, I guess, at 625.6. And then filling out to like 25,000 probably. Yeah, I would be very surprised if we get that type of move here today. If it's a limit down day or like an exchange halt, that would be unbelievable. I think of all my years trading on the stream, we haven't had a limit down day ever. And that's like, I don't know, maybe one benchmark that we're missing here as a team. To the upside here, we're looking 26,100 as our starting point, a little bit closer than what we had on ES. Okay. Yeah, again, the opens here are going to be extremely telling over, hey, are we getting good continuation or what kind of story are we getting? So I'm curious what's going to shape up or how that's going to shape up here this AM, but I don't want to be too aggressive. All right, CL. So red candle, decreasing volume gap down, 2 out of 3 to the downside without. And then we're going to call this $60 as our starting point there to the downside. You have to be a little bit respectful of that 5% limit with CL when it's already down 1% in the morning, right? You kind of have to have a little bit of respect for those prop firm limits. That's 5%. So call it $58 would be our target here. 58.50 would be our final target. So not a ton of space. To the upside, we're looking at a 61 handle. And we'll go 61.50. This does theoretically have a two-way tape. So let's see if it wants to behave in a reasonable manner. Okay, Apple, not terrible here. Red candle, decreasing volume gap down. Weak versions, right, of all of those things. So we'll call this a weak 2 out of 3 without volume. Tesla, green candle. What is the volume increase? Technically increasing volume and then gap down. So again, 2 out of 3 to the upside with vol, punchy gap. Microsoft, red candle, not an inside bar, decreasing volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 without volume. Okay. Amazon, I said that weird. Mean reversion look potentially, right? Loves to fill gaps. Be very surprising if we leave this gap behind before trying to fill this one. So it does set up a little bit like a mean reversion again, like yesterday. We did kind of get that pop in the end. I would think it's probably very similar, but it's like mean reversion gap fill effectively. Or, in the gross way of describing it, it's like a bottom up gap fill. We'll see if that behaves. Nvidia famously in the news yesterday because Michael Burry of the Big Short fame has opened up a pretty large position with or on Nvidia. Long short position, same as Palantir. He's betting very hard against AI. It is a 3 for 3 here to the downside though, so Nvidia is giving us trending price action. He might have looked. Hey Emmy, please remove that message from the Discord. We've got something coming here for people, but please bear with us. We'll get you set up. If you need anything in the short term, please please feel free to send me a message or to book a call. We do have a little addition coming to DTR here soon that will address your concerns. All right, 3 for 3 to the downside there on Nvidia, right? So let's see if we can get this trend to continue. Yeah, I think they're playing clips from last night, Jake, but yeah, he was given a nice little spiel, nice little pump up speech to us retail investors, even renaming us as what did he call us? He called us like people who think things make sense or something like that. I don't know, something stupid. All right, AMD inside bar earnings today after close, double inside bar now. So a lot of consolidation going into earnings. Kind of a big belief of mine with this is the way that they position it the day before is usually the opposite. Shouldn't say usually, but is the opposite that the ticker goes post earnings. So like if AMD today is a very big sell off and it's a big dump day and it's kind of tanking all morning, that would potentially give it an opportunity to get like an upside beat, right? Or to get good performance post earnings. All right, Meta. Red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. 2 out of 3 to the downside without. Netflix, red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. Kind of setting up as an inside bar. Okay. And then VIX, I'm guessing here today is going to be nice and punchy as well. I'd be very happy to be back in that 20 volatility. Google inside bar. And then, yeah, VIX Aruni here this morning, right? Has eclipsed 20 today. Would love to see it get back there. We had a lot of fun when we had that volatility in that range. And I'm sure we'd be able to do well again here today if we can get that type of PA. But like we said at the very start of today's session, today's about controlling the variables we can control, right? There's a high potential that this market wants to move very quickly, that it wants to force us into decisions, that it wants to activate our impulses. And our job is to ignore those sensations, to follow our rules, to not apply exceptions, and to hopefully learn something new and to get a little bit better. If we do that every single day, we're going to be in great shape. If we choose to skip those steps, we're probably going to get punished and we're going to get our butt kicked a little bit, and it's not going to be as fun. So let's see how the day shapes up here. I think we're going to have a relatively interesting one. Definitely a really big overnight reaction. And so you'd expect some sort of either defense, right, or narrative to get established based off of that overnight move. I'm very excited to see what that looks like here this morning. How's everyone feeling? Everyone feeling good? And just as a reminder for people here, right, I will never reach out to you individually or from a different username, offering crypto, FX, or anything along those lines, copy trading services. I do not offer those. Those are not legal. I do not offer those types of products. So please, guys, make sure that you're aware. We'll never ask you to trade your money or have access to any of your capital. The whole point of this program is to teach you how to trade with other people's money so that you can build up your trading portfolio and do whatever you want with your time and money. If I could copy trade or do those things effectively in a legal way, I wouldn't put in all the effort and energy of the coaching and all this kind of stuff. All right. So let's see how the day shapes up, right? Or where things kind of come together. And hopefully, right, we can see, how things behave or, how things get structured. Again, maybe early doors, right? We're getting a little bit of like that mean reversion element. That's potentially our kind of starting point here, right? Again, I feel like I'm being a little bit finicky with that. I'm like bouncing between if I think it's mean reversion or if it's going to be trend continuation. So I'll just let it happen. See what it is. Good size opening range though, right? Already twice as big as we had there yesterday. That's positive. And I did close as a red candle, but nothing particularly interesting. A little bit more indecisive on ES. Okay. So 3-min's going to look a little bit fuller to the downside, right? Maybe crushing some of our expectations of mean reversion. Very impressive volume profile, right? As well on that 3-min time frame. That does set up things here pretty nicely. Low probability, but some probability of there being a increasing volume candle here on the second 2-min bar of the day. That would be very strong if we could get it. What I'm also working on here a little bit, guys, is I'm trying to find a way to like make my notes, my intraday trading notes, digital. So that's something that I'm working on here that I'll make hopefully public for people here pretty soon. But I'm just trying to find like the right template or format or whatever to do it consistently, or so it looks nice. But I want to give you guys a little bit more like insight into basically like how I use my trading notes to review and to study my trades, or how I basically use that information to get better. And hopefully by seeing more examples of it, you'd be able to use it more effectively. Yeah, I figured I could use it as a notebook instead of a notebook. So far, so cool. Okay, we have a good chance to get increasing volume here. Let's see how this candle closes. 30 seconds to go. Very close. This has a very good chance to go increasing. Okay, maybe not with 10 seconds. With 30 seconds, it looked really promising, actually. Thought it had a chance. Yeah, Deb. So it's just a math thing, right? So how much are you willing to risk per trade, right? Well, for me, it's $500. I don't want a loss to ever exceed 500. That seems to be just a good starting point or a good spot for me. So then I just know, right? If I'm trading stop loss, that's 25 points. Well, 25 times 20 on NQ is 500, right? 20 times 20 is 400, right? 15 times 20 would be 300. And so then I know, okay, well, if I get 15 points, anywhere between 15 to 25 is about $500, or it's in my $500 buffer, then I know I'm looking at a one contract play. If it's, let's say, 10 points, right, then each contract costs me $200. So I could go two, right? Two contracts. If it's like 5 points, right, each contract gives me $100 worth of risk. So theoretically, I could go 5 contracts, right, on that position. And so it's just a sliding scale there. All you have to do, right, to get familiar with this yourself is just on a piece of paper, type out 5 times 20, 6 times 20, 7 times 20, right? All the way up until the largest stop loss that you can take, up until your max loss number. And anytime, right, it's less than half, you can increase your position sizing. So play around with it. That's very, very simple concept. There's already a bunch of documents with that information inside the trading docs. So all that info is there for you. I would recommend either making that cheat sheet or printing off one of the many available ones that exist already. Okay, so still not getting the correct volume profiles or like candle cooperation. It's close, but it's not quite where we want it to be. Like a little bit maybe of that indecision we kind of talked about here. One thing that I do, I'm trying to find a little bit annoying about ES. We saw it more yesterday, but yesterday at the open, like you don't get outlier volume. We didn't get outlier volume until 9:50. That's kind of pathetic. Or like really complicates how you want to trade it. It almost I don't know, saps interest just based on yeah, just based on the trade. Or just on the volume, sorry. Makes it hard to want to look for a trade. If we were to say opening 10 minutes here has been X type of price action, how would we describe it? Would we describe it so far as trending PA, consolidation, catch your breath, mean reversion. How would we describe it? I mean, NQ is my favorite too. Yeah, probably view it as consolidation or catch your breath, right? Like catch your breath, we said, if bears are going to win, they're probably going to be slow and then break down a little bit later in the morning, as in they're like catching their breath before, climbing the next leg. And maybe we have a chance here for increasing outlier. This would be our opportunity for mean reversion. I'm starting to run out of space for all my screens and computers and monitors on this desk. That's a me problem. All right, we'll cross that bridge later. So yeah, let's start to watch this, right? We do have a volume profile here, possibly setting up for that little mean reversion opportunity. And we'd be targeting a move up towards 860. So very, very punchy here. We shouldn't have 10 a.m. data, so we're in pretty good shape or a pretty clear morning. So we have a setup. Now we're looking for confirmation, right? Confirmation occurs on candle close with increasing outlier volume and a strong candle shape. We have the volume profile. We have the candle shape. Okay, fine. Textbook confirmation. Now we want to see basically bears fail, right? So we've seen bulls kind of reclaim control here a little bit this morning, but pretty overarching, strong bearish theme. We want to see bears fail in some context, right? Either fail on a pullback attempt, right? So a little fake out under their aggressive low price, or right, we get some sort of like overarching or larger flush that then kind of shakes out those participants. So all we're looking for here, it can be kind of vague maybe, but as we're looking for bears to fail, give me some sort of evidence that bears aren't in control, that it's bulls, and that we have a clear path here to the upside, or that we've wiped out their defenses effectively. For now, stop loss here would be 755, but we're hitting a little bit of a wall, which makes me think we'd still be early still. Okay, just crushed through that wall. So now we're setting up stop loss. 755 would be the stop. $25.75, and let's see if this thing now gives us a little fake out underneath that price. There it is. And so now stop loss would be 751. And we'd set our reference price here to be high of confirmation. It's a little bit close still to those lows, so I want to be a bit patient here. And another flush through. Okay, looking at 745. That is totally fine. We'll wait this candle to close. And now we're going to wait for a little fake out underneath that 745 area. We don't get a look here on the 2. We should be able to get a look here on the 5. So there's no rush here. I didn't like how that 2-min candle was behaving around that 750 area. It didn't give me enough confidence that I was going to be good on my entry timing. So it's not a big deal. We can always reset and try again. That does not scare me. Ooh, I thought I for sure was going to get increasing volume here on the 5-min. We still might. Didn't want to update the bar. Okay, did not get it. So we're going to be still sticking here to this 2-min time frame. And this is still my confirmation signal, right? So we've done nothing to invalidate this this bar here yet. Where to put my coffee? That's the only thing that can cause some serious danger here this morning. All right. We weren't allowed to drink coffee in like real coffee mugs on the trading desk because people just spill it all the time. They had to give us like these children's sippy cups to drink coffee out of. I don't know why I just thought of that, but or just remembered that. That always made me laugh. All right, so we gotta be a little bit patient here still. Not exactly a perfect looking candle. Still think we're gonna get a little fake out under that 45. I still have that that sensation. Hmm. Yeah, I still think that 45 is coming. So I'm going to still wait for that area. And all things considered, right, we've not missed out on anything here yet. So there should be no FOMO or anything along those lines here, right? We still want to see our plan kind of come together as we expect. Let's see if this is that little 45 fake out here. Maybe a little bit like it's not really respecting yeah, 45 is like a little fake out spot. If it closes back up above it in 5 seconds, for sure. But I wouldn't say that I would call that like the yeah, I wouldn't call that to be like the elevator snapback or sorry, the elevator, the elastic band snapback, right? As it made a little fake out lower, that felt a little bit more indecisive to me. So I'm going to wait at this point. I don't feel confident in which direction this is going to go, or like if I have a very easy path of least resistance. So I got 90 seconds here, guys. I'm going to go fill up my cup of coffee and hopefully just make it back before this candle closes. So bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I made it. I'm back. So we have a confirmation breakout here, separation away from the opening range. So back in bullish control. And we'd like to see that bearish fake out, right? Or some sort of bearish failure first. Answer also get a signal here on the 3-min. We've got lots of flexibility. Looks like grabbing a coffee was the right move. All right, so we're going to watch on this 3-min time frame. This is now going to give us increasing outlier. And don't know where to put my coffee. We want to be a little bit careful around this 800, right? This is going to be where price action is most likely to reject, right? If it is going to reject here. And so again, we want to see some sort of evidence of a bearish failure, and then we can look to jump in. Thing I want to avoid the most is chasing a squeeze move higher, like it appears to be doing, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get in on the squeeze, and then it's instantly going to dump 50 points, and they'll get fucking punished. So not necessary. I would rather do this the right way. We keep bouncing between time frames, not really a big deal. But now we're just going to be switching here to the to the 2-min and targeting a move towards just 900, just our next round number. Keep the math simple. We've got lots of volatility in store here today, so fine. Good breakout here through 800. Again, we're looking for a move to the upside, and we're looking for some sort of bearish failure. No 10 a.m. data today, so we should be okay. Okay, so reference price would be here, right? If we get that little fake out. We did see it. We'll call stop loss 810, excuse me, 810 stop loss. 25, 810. And this would be 2 contracts, right? Because you're looking at about 12 points of risk. Okay, see if we can get a gentle pullback here. Oh, come on. Fucking hell. Okay, we're going to be watching this on the 3. Keeps running without us, right? That's fine. Don't allow that to make you change your behaviors. Stick to your process, right? Follow your rules. Be deliberate. If the trade is strong, it'll give you an entry. Just trying to justify the tightest, best, most appealing risk-reward ratio one can find, right? So we could arguably call that a potential bit of a fake out there. You'd be looking stop loss 828. So now you want to see a gentle pullback here. You could increase your position sizing a little bit potentially. Never mind. Fuck me. Cannot find an entry here today. Frustrating. Okay, we're looking now on the 5-min target here, 943. Okay, please give me the little fake out lower first. No chasing, guys, right? I know it would feel good and it'd feel like a relief. We got to stick to our rules, right? It's the days where following them is the hardest that are the most important to follow them. Freaking insane. Okay, back to the 2-min, right? We're trying to find our risk reward ratio here to justify taking this trade. Let's see. And give me some sort of bearish failure here, please. Not enough yet. So we're looking at 857 stop loss. Gosh, 857. Let's see if it's a little bit lower here now. Okay, is that our little fake out? A good little bounce. 854 would have to be the stop loss. Now it'd have to be higher. Let's see. A little bit of a less appealing bounce there. So now we're looking at an 849. Let's see, it still might go lower. Call it 847. Stop loss now. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't ever look at MAs or any of those moving averages in my analysis, so I'm not going to look at them now, right? That would be a way of effectively breaking my rules because they're not a part of my process. So, truth be told, I don't care. Okay, so again, let's see if we see a little fake out here. Not that I can see. Remember, guys, we can always find an indicator, a tool, a resource, or whatever that gives us a smart sounding reason why our strategy won't work. Right? So we don't care. We don't listen. We don't add extra noise to our analysis. We stick to our process. We follow it based on what it is, and we don't look for extra confirmation bias. Keep it simple, right? The more things you're looking at, the more indicators, whatever, you just create analysis paralysis. I truly don't care what any other indicator is saying. I trade my system and my system alone. I don't allow any other outside influences to impact me or to change my opinion because they're not relevant. Man, I cannot believe I cannot find an entry on this yet. This is crazy. Still looking. We want to see that failure first. Come on. Okay, that was a good little rubber band bounce. So we'd call reference price 79. You're at, well, below that now. Again, we want to see another bounce here. Reasonable. So now we're looking at a 66 stop loss, guys. 66. 866. Now we want to see a gentle pullback. Come on. Come on. Give me a gentle one. Be 2 contracts here. All right, guys, I am in. Average price 8. Oh, fuck. I only got partial fill. Sorry. I have a partial fill. There we go. Fill price 873.50. I have closed the remainder of my working positions. Got 1 contract filled, which is not fantastic. All right, I'm going to close the other one here at, or that full position here at 877. I got the exit at, and I'm going to look just to either re-enter or to get the position sizing I want. I did not get the execution I was hoping for. So it's not, I'm not out of this trade because I don't like its behavior. I'm out because I couldn't get the fill I wanted. I'll just get out, get impartial, try again. If you're in this, guys, you're in great shape. Holding above entry price wall. There's the fake out. Let's see. This would be your reason to start to get out now. Not your fake out. That's a pretty nasty one. So it'd stop. It'd have to be 863. I'd go reference price here-ish maybe. So stop is 863. Got a little fake out. Nice work, John. All right, guys, I'm back in 871. Ugh, kind of a gross fill. 871 stop loss 863. Based on that fill, I have a little bit of probably too much risk on this position. But fine. Gonna manage this for now. Good reaction, good entry. Even get over 80 at this point. There it is. It stalls out. If it's got one more pop through, otherwise that's going to be my exit signal. Yep. All right. So looking to close now as P&L is increasing. And I'm out, guys, out at 72 275. Actually, correction, Phil, 83.50. Sorry, 73.50. $200. But not the right reaction to 80. Again, we'll try again, get impartial. I feel like I'm just getting my little base hits. My warning sign on that probably should have been to get out earlier because I got a bad fill. So if you're feeling that, Nautilus, right, go just take the rest of the day off, right? You're unlikely to make a strong decision or a good decision. You're up, take it and run. Don't force anything. Okay. Have a weird one. Hey, good luck, Colin. Okay, so we're just missing that outlier volume here at this point, right? That's the ingredient. We made the right call getting out where we did. It's stalling at that 80 handle. Was the right read. So, okay, no complaints there. Didn't allow a bad decision to occur. So, can't complain about that. Question is now, can I get the right profile here? I would say that's right above outlier. All right, let's see what this bad boy's got for us. So we're looking first, again, for that little bearish failure. Sorry, bullish failure this time, right? So we're looking to the downside. Target here would be low of day. And we're just mapping this out as a visual so you guys can see the setup and hopefully visualize the setup a little bit better, right? These fibs aren't a part of my analysis. Like I don't get anything technical from it. It just saves me time from drawing out 3 lines. I can just click and drag, right? That's why I do it. Still gonna have to wait here a little bit. I wouldn't say I got quite the fake out I wanted. or a pullback into the zone I needed. Now we're going to see if this happens maybe on a shorter time frame. But I've done a relatively good job here so far. I don't have too many complaints over how we've traded yet. A bit annoyed we missed a lot of that move to the upside. Just could not find an entry. But it just reminds me, right? If a trade is strong, it'll give you an entry. It didn't want to give us an entry there, and now we're seeing that move kind of fake out and die a bit. Could be something to think about a little bit. This could be our fake out. I wonder if this one will go increasing outlier. Probably not. I don't need to have that same standard on the 3-min. As long as we don't get like a terrible, ugly candle close, we're still fine here. Okay, that's fine. Again, now we want to see some sort of bullish failure. And then like it should look like a like elastic band snapping back, right? So definitely not what an elastic band looks like there. That's maybe a little bit better. But still, I would say not aggressive enough of a snap back. My reference price here would be there, but we need to see that rejection first, right? So I'm just getting everything mapped out. Please don't rush in yet. We want to see that aggressive snap back. So stop here would be now 847. That might change here pretty quick. Yep. Okay, so now we're looking for a fake out above this candle's high. Absorption so far. Wow. Very impressive. Okay, no. There's a little bit of a snap back though. All right, so you'd be looking at an 870 stop loss. I want to keep it tight here. Looking at those wicks as like my reference. That'd be an 863 stop, 870. Let's see if we can get a pull back here. And then all I'm watching, right, is basically the speed of this move. If it happens really quickly, I won't take it. If it kind of pulls in there as like a wounded animal, I'll have no hesitation. So I'm just watching, right, the speed of this pullback here. If it happens too quick, I'm not interested. But if it keeps kind of creeping up like it was doing there, that's no problem. Fine enough close. Again, still looking for a gentle pullback. Now it's like 10 points away. It's still within striking distance. Everyone understand what the setup is, what the plan is? Okay, watch here carefully. For the briefest of seconds, it was inside. Still 10 points. So it feels like a lot. Okay, again, it's creeping up here. Watch carefully. Saw a 62, not a 63. Oh. All right. Fuck. Just needed 1 point more. Oh, mean. Might have to just be patient. Excuse me. Might just have to be patient here. Making me work for a living a little bit today. Fine by me. Yeah, let's see here. Nice and gentle. It's got to be, though, guys, right? Nice and gentle. Okay, watch here. A little bit too fast, right? For sure, a little bit too fast. Let's see if this fakes out, establishes a new stop. Right, that went from 51 to 61 in one tick, right? Or in one bump. So no entry there. Not enough volume to play this on the 2. Not enough volume to play that on anything else. So this now, again, setting up as a possible fake out. Stop loss would have to be at the 80 handle. Need it to close under this blue line to be categorized as that. Right, which is just our confirmation high. So like we can't say that it's a fake out if we get a close and hold above our confirmation high. Right, means that bears aren't defending where we expect them to. That was a good rejection. Again, now you're looking at 880 as your stop. Oh, a lot of work today. Everyone understood why that one wasn't an entry, correct? All right, good. So we're looking here, 880 stop loss. Same little protocol we just went through, right? If we see elevator in that zone, we want to avoid it. Might have just missed. Let's see again here. Okay, watching. Again, looking for that gentle pullback into 70 or above. I'd probably go a little bit higher here, right? I'm going to go like 72, 73-ish. I'm basically trying to find an unreasonable pullback that I can trade effectively, right? Where almost like being so patient on my entry or waiting for such an unreasonable price that I could be correct just based on entry timing, not necessarily needing the thesis to be correct. I want to be careful how I say that because I do have a thesis here, but if we do end up chopping about and I buy a deeper pullback, right, that gives me a much easier opportunity to be green than if I buy like the most aggressive entry. So we're watching here. We're close. Didn't quite see a 74 handle there. All right, guys, I am in 75.25. Stop loss there at 880. Let's see if this thing can crack down into the 50s again. A good rejection off of 75, but I don't like how it's stalling. It's a little bit slower than it should be. That's better. Don't bounce back now. Keep pushing under those 70s. Come on, die. All right, so we can get under 60 here. That was a big bounce. Don't like that too much. See if it flushes through 60. We're basically trying to give this like a 10-point range here, right? We're judging if it gives us an aggressive pop over 70 or an aggressive breakdown under 60. Still no reason to get out. I don't know if I like that retest too much. Again, let's see if it flushes through here to those low 60s or if it holds 70. It's kind of holding 70 a little bit more than I'd like. Come on. I do feel early, guys. I do feel early. So I'm gonna see if I can get a little pop here. Gonna look to get out. Okay, guys, that's my exit right there. Exit price 73.25. Just stalled at the worst moment. It's a little bit of a disappointing trade, to be honest. Again, we read it the right way. Just we keep getting stalled out in the wrong spots. And then it comes back to our entry or whatever it is and just ends up giving us some issues. What? Guys, why not get out, right? If you the whole thing, right? The whole thing we're trying to train ourselves to do is that when I get an emotional reaction to price action, I need to close my trade. That's the whole thing that we're trying to train our body to do, to not override those signals, right? Because once you're in a position, once you have an emotional reaction, how you react effectively becomes random. So if we're fighting that urge, we're just creating environments of self-sabotage, right? I think there was a lot of warning signs with how we talked about that trade, not behaving correctly, don't like this, don't like that, looking for an exit. I can't force you guys to click that button yourself. You do have to make that decision ultimately for you. But the whole objective here is we're trying to make decisions that aren't driven by our emotions, by our hopium, right? We're just trading our system. If we see a move fail, talked about that 10-point range, right? If we see that 10-point range, we have to get out, right? We saw it break out to the upside of that 10-point range and had to get out. Right, turn it into a game, guys, right? That's the whole trick. Gamify it. It's not that our thesis was wrong, it's that our thesis was potentially early. That's okay, right? We can try again. So the whole objective is, if you don't like how a trade is behaving, that the only way you're going to get objective again is to close that trade. And once you get objective, that's when you can reclaim your mental capital and you can go back to trading another opportunity. But it's much, much better to not go all in, all out on every decision, right? Because you just end up creating a lot of extra stress. So you don't have to make everything to be, I'm either making a fuck ton or I'm losing a fuck ton. Doesn't have to be that. We can be a little bit more deliberate. And the goal, right, is after every trade, it's, okay, if I don't like how I'm feeling or I don't like what the market is telling me, how can I get objective? The only way that I can get objective is to get out of my position. It's the only way. All right, so we're looking here potentially at a 2-min breakdown. Stop loss would be 874. Right, this would be a short here. We've already had that fake out lower. We've already had that, whatever you want to call it. This is my confirmation right at 1026. Let's see if we can potentially find a reasonable entry here. I'm going to wait for this candle to close. We got 15 seconds. Can't answer that question with the information you've given me there, Austin. Not enough to give you that. You send me your trades and how you had them mapped out and what your risk was and what your position sizing was. I could give you a better answer, but when I'm looking for an entry, that is the completely wrong and inappropriate time to ask that question. These guys, like, give me some space when I'm looking for entries, right? We're all trying to make money here. If we get in the way of that, it is, well, it just costs people money. Okay, so we're looking here, 862 stop loss. Try to show this every day, guys, but trading requires pretty extreme and intense focus, right? So we got to give it that ourselves if we want to do well. That's a way too fast pullback. I would expect a fake out here still. Now we're looking 862 as a stop. Same confirmation, right? This still continues to act as our confirmation. Nothing that has happened here has yet invalidated our idea. We're just looking for a gentle pullback here now to justify taking risk. We're just stacking up small wins here today. No big deal. Take what the market gives you. Don't impose your feelings on what you want the market to give you. Trade your system. Don't be an asshole. Yeah, we'll reset this. Fine. Again, we're looking for that out like rubber band snapback. A little bit of one. So we're looking at an 853 stop loss. 853. Okay. So now we're looking for a gentle pullback here. That was not gentle. So I'm expecting a higher high. There it is. Woo. All right. I was going to take a quick lap around the house. Give me a second. All right. So just did that because whatchamacallit. I felt like I was getting a little bit of tunnel vision there. I just wanted to like reset, basically get myself out of that. Did not close as a fake out. Hey, nice work, Kiki. Enjoy. I love the discipline of stacking up just good process days. That's a very sustainable way to trade. All right, so no quite what I want. Hey, base hits add up real quick. They compound like crazy. So yeah, literally a $400 day. And it feels like it should be a lot more. That feels like is something that is like fucking with my head a little bit, for lack of a better term, right? I got to fight that sensation as if the market owes me anything. It owes me nothing. So I can't like let those thoughts continue to be intrusive, or I have to like call them out, because that's not the reality. Market owes me only the chance to sit and watch, which I've done plenty of here today. And I should be grateful that I get to do this instead of a real job. But it certainly does not owe me money because I could not find a trade, and I need to fight that feeling a little bit here today. Pretty rare where I feel like I get that tunnel vision. Felt like I got that tunnel vision a little bit. Yeah, I haven't been wrong on anything here today so far. My decisions have been okay. I haven't maximized them as well as I could have. I think is fair and reasonable. But I've not tricked myself into doing something stupid, and that's where the hard work lies sometimes. It really does feel like I've taken a lot more trades than I have. Mentally, it feels like I've taken a lot more than I have. Oh, it's a bit of a weird sensation. We've basically been stuck here for the last 40 minutes. So at this point, right, we basically just want to get a breakout from this range. We're looking for a breakout from this range. Maybe a reversal off the upper end or reversal off the bottom end would be fine too. That's sort of what we're kind of primed to be. I think trading it in the middle of this zone is going to be a little bit challenging. And in the middle of this zone is where we've effectively seen that volume dry up. So I'm going to go fill up my cup of coffee. I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. A minute to go here on this candle. We need to get up closer towards that 200 range. Or sorry, 200, 900. I don't know where I got 200 from. It feels a little bit weird. I do feel like maybe the path of least resistance is to the downside. But I feel like I've tried that a couple times without the oomph I wanted, maybe is the right way of describing it. A increasing, not outlier. Currently we have no setups. Like this move kind of failed, so not looking for a continuation of this move. Like this is kind of not super scientific. So bear with me a little bit, but it's like if a setup gives me an ick for whatever reason, right? It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't behave the way that I expect. It fails in some context. I can create some justification where it's like kind of gross. I'll just reset completely right and wait for a new volume profile, not look to force that idea. As long as yeah, like I'll keep going back to a setup as long as it treats me well. But once it gives me the ick, I don't want anything to do with it. And I would say that this one gave me the ick a little bit on how fast that 1034 candle reversed. Nice work, John. Yeah, with that, like I don't want to force anything. Right? Or I don't want to keep beating the same setup or like yeah, constantly forcing the same idea. It's nice to have a little bit of variety in one's life, I guess. But it is that if for whatever reason a trade doesn't behave when I expect it to behave, gives me the ick, the popular term, I'll just get out it and try again. And then, hey, if it's strong, it'll give me another chance. It'll give me another signal. It'll give me whatever. Uh, can't really comment on that. Not my strategy. It's not my technique. So wouldn't be very fair for me to make any assessments or comments. I only look at price action through my context or how I trade. I don't really. This is what I'm an expert at, right? Like this is what I'm good at. I know my strategy inside and out. So this is what I'm qualified to talk about. I don't know people's strategies or techniques or how they trade or what your background with it is. And so any comments I make would be extremely out of context and probably cause more harm than good. So I need to refrain. I'm only qualified to talk about my strategy, my concepts, my ideas. That's where I'm an expert. Everything else, I have no fucking clue. Sorry. Not enough volume on NQ here, 5 min. 10 min's not going to get there. 15's not going to get there. 30's not going to get there. I reckon you guys might think I've lost my marbles when I take a 30-minute ORB breakout one day. Does feel a little bit weird today, Sonia. I agree. There's been a lot of, at least for myself, there was a lot of feelings of like wanting to chase this breakout higher. Like it kept moving while following like 80% of my rules. And when you get a lot of those like good enoughs, like you can tell yourself it's good enough, you could lie to yourself to good enough. I think that creates like a little bit of a weird sensation. Because there's like a dopamine battle effectively where it's like, oh well, if I chased, I know I would have made a lot of money here today. But then there's also like a subtle feeling of being proud that you didn't chase and that you followed your rules. But those are at odds with each other. And so it creates kind of like a, I don't know if I should be proud of myself or I don't know if I should be mad at myself type feeling. And that's a little bit confusing. All right, we have a chance here. Outlier volume separation away from highs. Let's see if she gives it to us. Again, we're looking for a strong candle shape here. We have the volume profile. We want it to look like candle 1, 2, or 3. So if we close, sub 850, we should be good. Okay, sweet. Good close. Great volume. Now we want to see a bullish failure, right? Target here would be low of day. Okay, again, it's trying to make you feel like you need to chase this. Fight that feeling. Okay, so I want to see a little bit of a fake out above that 43. I have like limited confidence that it's going to happen, which is strange. So I have it set up here. Let's see if this is the fake out spot. Maybe look on 8, called 845 for now. Okay, so same thesis is still in play. This 1046 would be my confirmation still. Looking for some sort of bullish failure first. This creeping up into there pretty nicely. So annoying. All right, we're gonna wait this on the 3. All right, here's our signal, 1045 candle. Same setup, same target, right? Still low a day. We're just trying to find the right risk reward ratio. and for everything to just follow our rules. Everything is just giving me like, yeah, 50 to 70% follow and then moving in my direction's favor. And that's super frustrating. That close, but close enough is not, yeah, whatever. Let's focus. 833 would be the stop here. Fucking runs right away. Okay, 14 seconds right on the 2-man. I feel like I'm in the insane asylum. Okay. We're looking at an 812 as our fake out spot here. Call it 813 as a fake out. Every time I look back at my order window, it's like a 30-point difference from where it was 2 minutes later. And then I just, my old little brain can't help but do some math. Okay, let's see if this is the fake out. There it possibly is. Oh man, I have to fight the feeling to not chase that. So 816 would be the stop loss here, guys. 816. And we're looking for a gentle pullback now. Hey guys, I am in average price 813, stop loss 816. 4 contracts. Short, obviously, short. Guys, these orders filling, I don't know how many resources I got to make until you figure out what your problem is and just solve it. If you used a market order there, you would have gotten a fill. If you bought on the uptick, you would have gotten a fill. So like at some point, guys, we got to stop making excuses and just change our technique to fix our problems. I cannot be this often. It really cannot be this often. That trade did not move so fast where we had to miss. I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable. Okay, let's see if this thing can get under 800. Yeah, but what I'm saying, right, is if you're not getting the fills that you want, you need to change your technique to get the fills that you want. Not getting it is a warning sign, right? Like it's a big deal. You shouldn't excuse yourself of that responsibility. Let's see if this thing can break down through 800. Really good reaction here so far. We want to see it to hold 800 here, right? 800's our key point. If it can't hold through 800, it wouldn't be surprising to get a very big bounce. So far, so good. Let's even keep going. Hey, now our hard work, guys, is paying off, right? Now our hard work is paying off. This thing is moving very, very nicely for us. And we now want to focus on closing as P&L is increasing here, right? So let's watch this flush into the 70s. But we want to be focusing on closing as P&L is increasing. Okay, so watching carefully here, watching carefully. Give me a nice flush and I can get out. Come on, one more. Okay, guys, I am out. Exit price 72.75. Exit price 72.25 for 32.20. Let's go. Excellent trade. Let's fucking go, guys. Let's go. Again, guys, missing entries is a big deal. Is a very big deal. If we are missing them because of our technique, we need to improve our technique or change it, right? So that we do catch the trades we want to catch in. Nice work, team. Excellent, excellent, excellent work. We had to fight for that today a little bit, but I'm very proud of how we did. That was very strong. Well done, team. And a good exit, right? Okay, we maybe could have gotten 63. We got 72. That's a good exit. What a good reminder, right? That when we ignore impulses, follow our rules, stick to our plan, that we make money, right? That's the best feeling in the world. Let's go. Beautiful. Look, anything above that blue line, good entry. Anything worse, I'm not going to give you too much credit for, but that's fantastic. 813 stop loss there was, I believe, 816. Exit price 772.75. Risk was pretty small on that. I had 4 contracts, 3 points of risk. Why am my math so bad? So 80 times 3, 160, 240. Um, I mean, theoretically, you could. I'm not super motivated to trade that, to be honest with you, Hunter. Right? It's been a really good day here. Price action has not been the easiest. I'm 3 for 3. I'm up a really nice amount. So I don't feel like I need to keep trading this chop, truth be told. I would say that I'm the risk reward of giving back P&L is going to feel worse than just walking away with the big green day. Like you made 21, almost 2,200 bucks on that trade. Pair that with our other two small wins, you're probably up 2,500 bucks. You'd feel worse getting your P&L down to 2,000 or 1,500 than you would getting it to 3K. So it kind of becomes like a skewed risk reward. I'm not super motivated to keep trading, to be honest. I'm happy 3 for 3. I don't really need to do anything else. Nice work, Todd. Congratulations. It's just like Kyle. I don't think it's patience. Like I think people misunderstand that. I view it as stubbornness. We're all stubborn here. So I'm just stubborn and I only want to follow my process and I only want to follow my rules. And I'll be a grumpy little bitch if I'm not. So I may as well just do that as much as I can. So for me, it's stubbornness. It's not discipline. Let's go, Barclay. How much is that for on the day? But yeah, I do feel like today was a little bit more maybe mentally taxing, right? Than some of the more mentally taxing than yesterday. So I'm just not interested in doing something stupid. It's a really strong trading day here. Back to back days of 3K plus. Back to back days of 3 wins. Like, yeah, I'm not really going to complain here. Pretty good, guys. I'm pretty stoked on that. Yeah, and all it takes is one good opportunity, right? That's all it takes is one good opportunity. And as long as we focus on keeping our risk tight, we focus on managing our expectations, we don't break any dumb rules. Very easy for us to find that win, right, and get right on the day. Still not super thrilled with my journal template, but we'll get there. We'll figure something out. Hey, appreciate that, Kyle. All right, guys. Any other question? What do you mean by that? So, as a member's account balance increases to closer to their take profit, what are your thoughts on setting a lower risk, i.e., lowering units by one to give you more shots in the barrel? What does that mean? Like, are you saying you're close to your profit target and you want to size down to get there, so that like a loss doesn't set you back, or what do you mean by that? How close are you? Okay, but hypothetically in this situation, how close are you? Trailing drawdown, or like intraday trailing drawdown, or end of day drawdown? I need specifics, please, right? Like you five, like is the hypothetical scenario 5K away, 3K away, 2K away, 1K away? So I would keep your sizing the same, but it would depend on how much drawdown you have. Like ideally, right, regardless of what status we have inside our proper account, we should not be picking and choosing when we're sizing up or when we're sizing down. Really, the only appropriate time to size down is if you're dealing with some sort of like mental barrier, right? Some mental hiccup, some whatever, right? Because sizing down can make you impartial a lot of the time. So, in a scenario where maybe you're target focused, it could make a little bit of sense to do that. But I would be careful doing it, because if you're target focused and you're sizing down, a lot of the times people will just end up taking extra trades because, oh, my risk is $200 here. It doesn't mean anything. And they lose that ability to basically trust their system. So they change one thing and then all of a sudden everything else kind of slips apart. But personally, unless you're dealing with like a tremendous period of drawdown, we shouldn't be changing our sizing too aggressively too often. Our system works better when our math can be consistent, right? So if every trade I'm sizing it for that $500 worth of risk, makes the math work a lot better on my system. If I'm picking and choosing when I'm doing it, the math doesn't really work as well as it should because there's too many extra variables. I think so. Yeah. Like the trying to buy the discount, it has a disproportionate reward system associated with it, right? Because if you're sizing down your trades and you're not buying that discount, you're not increasing your probability of getting positive R returns, right? But if you buy a discount, you decrease the risk, but you maintain your position sizing. When you're wrong, you make less. Sorry, you lose less, but disproportionately make more. So, like on the trade that I took here, the second one, right, today, or sorry, this third one here today, that big breakdown we caught, I had like $240 worth of risk, but I got $3,200 worth of reward. So I got more than 10 to 1 risk reward on that trade. Whereas if you keep or if you size down, you end up maybe getting 3 to 1, right, on that same trade, or you don't get that like asymmetric effect of your risk reward increasing as your pullback gets deeper and deeper. So you end up making more if you buy discounts and losing less. Whereas if you just size down, you end up losing less, but you don't change that ratio of making more. Look, I would always trade my eval account or my live account, whatever, until I can't trade it. I am willing to fight until my last dying breath. I don't give up. Like the best way that you build confidence as a trader is you make mistakes and then you get your portfolio to all-time highs once you fix them. The only way you really gain confidence as a trader is you prove to yourself that you can get there. Well, what do you mean by fight towards a green day? I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, because it's not that I figured out to get back into the green, but when I keep my losses small, I just don't need a big move to get paid, right? So like if my loss is, let's say $300 and I've got 4 contracts, dude, I'll make that back in 5 points, right? So all I'm doing with my discounts is I'm making it easier for future Michael to be profitable. And I'm either green right away or I'm stopped out right away. That's pretty much how my trades have been going. And that's extremely positive. So I don't agree with the sentiment that I'm fighting towards a green day. I think that that's a very let's say that's a mischaracterization. I'm just trading my system, I'm trading my math, and I'm making it easier for those things to work in my favor. And so I'm never digging out of a deep hole. That's why it's easy to be green. And then when I have a trade like today where I get 11 or 12 R return, well, now I'm paying for a dozen mistakes. And my life is easy at this point, right? Like I can cruise off of that as a trader. But every day's like my win rate on the year is like 51 or 52%. So if that's the case, right, that means that every other morning my first trade is going to be a loss. So it's no different or no better or no worse. It's just the same. The reason why it appears as if things are going well is because I'm able to keep my losses really small, buy deep discounts, and then when I get follow through, I don't need a big move to be back in the green. Um, Shows my average win versus average loss. So if you go up here, right, shows my average winning trade, average losing trade. So it does have that. I haven't translated it to R. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? All right, guys, final call for questions here. Final call for questions. Remember, guys, right? It's not our desire to make money that makes us profitable. It's our ability to follow rules that gets us paid. And the more control that we can exert over the quality of our process, over our impulses, over our fears, over our insecurities, whatever it might be, the better our trading goes. Today, for example, right, I had to fight the insecurity of chasing this move or like missing this move. feeling as if I had missed the easy move of the day or the easiest price action of the day. And had I chased that, I probably would have been punished long term, but instead fought through that sensation, literally did a lap around the house to reset, and then found a nice play to the downside. So just controlling that voice in your head, being honest with yourself, right? Holding yourself to that high standard, being unwilling to compromise, even when it feels like it's a guaranteed profit. If you do, will make you a lot more money long term. And that's all we got to focus on, right? We get more than enough action every day. We get more than enough looks. We are good enough at finding our entries, but we got to just polish up our technique so we're not missing trades. We're not missing exits, right? We're not ignoring exit rules, and we're just stacking up, right, those wins. Because those little $200 wins to start the session off, or those little $150 pops here and there, yeah, they don't feel great. They don't feel fantastic, but they build you margin for error so that when you do get a trade like the one we got this later half in the morning, that you have the mental capital to take advantage of it from start to finish. So every decision that we're trying to make is to protect our future self, right? It's to protect future Michael, to protect future Kyle, to protect future Nick. And we have to be doing everything right in our process effectively, or everything in our control to make our future jobs easier. And so that means, right, journaling our trades. The more that I notice my patterns, the easier it is for future Michael to notice them. That means, right, forcing myself to delay gratification and play for bigger prizes. That means not chasing losses or chasing wins or making decisions based off of dopamine. Everything is here to make decisions based off of remaining in control, of being deliberate, right? Of being the one who knocks. And the more that I take accountability of over those processes, the better my trading goes. So the thing that always sets me off edge is when we blame something bullshit for something that we have control over. And we got to get more addicted to asserting control, because that's the only way that the market is going to reward you here long term. So if you're missing entries, start using market orders. If you're missing exits, right, start practicing on closing as P&L is increasing. If you're oversizing, start trading micros, right, instead of minis. You can make it easier for yourself to improve, build the muscle memory you need, and to create the P&L that you're desiring. But if we're going to skip steps, if we're going to compromise, if we're going to lie to ourselves that we don't have XYZ problem, then we'll keep repeating mistakes, and we'll make it for future me or future you to then make a good decision. So trading is all about controlling the variables we can control, being honest with ourselves over what our problems are, and then attacking them ruthlessly and making it easy for ourselves to improve. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Our job as traders is to collect data intraday. Hopefully everyone did a good job here this morning of collecting their data, what they did well, what they can improve, mistakes they made, mistakes they didn't make, right? And to continue to build their confidence and to create that self-trust. That's how we win here long term. There are no magic words. There's no spell. There's no visibility I could provide you in the live stream that would solve that problem for you. We all have to just fight that battle ourselves. And when we do, good things happen. When we don't, well, we keep repeating mistakes that we don't want to repeat. I can speak with confidence that everyone here is here for the same reason, right? We're craving freedom. We want our financial flexibility. We want to own our time. And that means we got to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations with ourselves to make sure that we're fixing the things that are actually our bottlenecks, and we're not distracting ourselves with, bullshit things, right? It's super easy to trick ourselves into thinking that XYZ is going to solve our problems. Oh, a different indicator, a different ticker, a different chart, a different prop firm, a different process of Michael calling out his trades. But those are all bullshit. Right? We all have the information we need to be profitable here already. We all have the skills. The hardest skill to learn is that self-belief and that self-trust. And that's the most exciting thing about becoming a trader or committing to this path. Because once you fall in love with that process, once you get into that feedback loop, it is the most addictive and fulfilling like process that you can go through, because you just constantly crush limiting beliefs. And the more and more we can get addicted to those, and your life just gets so much more fun, because everything becomes a challenge you can overcome instead of an obstacle that you can't climb. And if trading can teach you anything, it is that incredible self-reliance. And I would recommend that we pursue that approach as much as possible, because it will make you a lot more money. It's not to say that I'm leaving anytime soon here, or I'm walking away, or I'm quitting trading. I have no intentions to do that. But like, I'm away next week, right? I've got a couple days off. I've got a bachelor party I'm going to, and I want you guys to be able to make money in those periods. And the more that we learn to embrace our processes, embrace our skills, embrace the things that actually make us money, then the sooner that you're fishing for yourself, the sooner you're independent, the sooner you're telling your boss to fuck off. And those are all beautiful and wonderful things. So I know I can be a little bit of a grumpy prick in here. I know I can be a little bit intense, but it is all out of that pursuit of hopefully just getting everyone to be a little bit better. We're here all to make money. We're all here to do our very best. And I think it requires a certain element of intensity to get there. And yeah, like, if I'm not willing to tolerate my own bullshit, I'm not willing to tolerate other people's. That's the standard we set for ourselves. And I think once you get addicted to that feedback loop, it's infuriating maybe to see other people not in love with that same process, because in hindsight it seems so obvious, or it's like, it feels like, oh, like, why didn't I start this sooner? And yeah, like, I think everyone has the ability, everyone has the skill, everyone has the desire to do it. Now we just got to make our actions match our words and get us to that point. So look, I love this team. I love DTR members. We are all super motivated. We're all super hungry. We're all super committed to getting better. But sometimes we make things a little bit harder for ourselves than we need to. And I hope that we can all fix those things here. And we'll keep making sure that the live stream gives us that environment and our opportunity to just a little bit better every single day. But for now, homework for everyone, right? What's one thing I did well? What's one thing I can improve? What's one thing I can focus on here tomorrow? And then, how can I be selfish in attacking and addressing my own problems so that I can get a little bit better each and every day? If we commit to that, we're all going to do very well. If we skip those steps and we're just chasing the number on a screen, well, I think we're all going to suffer, and we're all going to get stuck in an area we don't want to be stuck. So a lot of ranting and raving here today. Had to do a lot of controlling my own psychology. So hopefully it was a educational session for everyone. But a strong trading day. Happy with how the P&L went, right? From following my processes. It always feels really good to get a good reward for being stubborn. And I think we got that here today 12-fold. So well done here, everybody. Good trading day. Love to see everybody's P&Ls to where they're at. And yeah, we'll be back at it again here tomorrow. So same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a great rest of the trading day. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow or in our one-on-one calls here this afternoon. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.